All right, boys. I guess we're gonna get going, and Logos will join us at some point mid-sesh. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me because this is gonna be a bit of a longer recap than normal, as we have not played in a while, and we have concluded an arc. So I'm gonna go through just a kind of quick summarize the previous arc, and then we'll get into it. So. Let's see here. The party first arrived via ship to the nation of Brightwood, leaving the Alliance Isles behind as they dock at the elvish port city of Shrawlitten. It did not take them long to gather themselves and their things and press onward. Despite a few roadside troubles, the Sands of Justice makes their way through the elven countryside, eventually coming upon Ledlitten, a smaller elven community that lay right on the border of rolling, rocky, spring and creek-filled hills and the great forest of Brightwood itself. A lot happened in a short time here. The party helped repel bugbear slaver raiders, learned that they have been kidnapping elves across the nation, learned they may perhaps serve the drow, and earned a bit of respect amongst the locals, not only for defending their community, but also due to Blade's exceptional performing abilities, and perhaps finding an ally in the realm. Leader of the community, Lord Svelison, who seems enamored by Blade's performance prowess. Concluding business and moving on, the party heads to Silurin, hometown of Locris, discovering more evidence of bugbear raiders and kidnappers, possibly backed by drow, along the way. After arriving to Silurin, the party finds themselves in Locris's family home. His parents, Dardros and Initiari, were more than happy to host their son and his friends while they stayed in the city. High elven hospitality, or complete lack thereof, and borderline racism towards the mortal races, but particularly tieflings, can be felt everywhere in the realm, but it is particularly heavy in Silurin. Aside from that, some info gathering leads the party to kind of more of the same, though it reveals that the Underdark is home to the drow, as well as where the veil between the material plane and the Shadowfell, which is Locris's true destination, is the thinnest. It also reveals that a local businessman, tiefling, and thieves guild leader, Tutu, under the influence of a powerful charm spell, has been helping the bugbear raiders. The charm spell, left by none other than Amorphous Perch, an ancient vampire and current nemesis to the Sands of Justice. The party, Tutu and crew, escorted by a local guard captain and his squad, make their way to the Silurin Council chambers to share intel. Precautions are then taken. Though the snobby high elves generally detest the idea of mortal races having access to Macadamilect Academy, and also worry that they may muck up current operations they have going on in the Underdark, the king decrees that they will allow access if but for one favor. The party's renown as dragon slayers precedes them, and a great white worm, known as the Last Snow, has taken a swath of Brightwood for his own. After a bit of prodding, the party, Tutu with a dozen soldiers, and a local guard captain, also with a dozen soldiers, set out to find the dragon's lair and slay the beast. The beast was indeed found and slain, with minimal damage to the Sands of Justice. Tutu, however, lost his entire crew, and Captain Laurelis only managed to return with 2 of his original dozen. returning to Siluran as heroes, helping plant the seeds of equality amongst the ranks of the pompous High Elves, and being granted access to the Academy and the Underdark. Our heroes quickly concluded their business within the city, said their goodbyes, and departed. Once reaching the Academy, the party was almost immediately lowered via ancient crane through the Earth's crust for miles until finally setting down within the Underdark. A series of wild events eventually leads our party to a mushroom grove, a myconid forest of sorts. Well as to sentient myconid men. The myconids turned out to be non-hostile and actually helped the party, mostly by aiding in a ritual that, when combined with a near-dead Locris, causes shadows to leap forth from his body, engulf the party, and transport them to the Shadowfell. The Shadowfell was no walk in the park, and presented several immediate hurdles. However, despite this, the party overcame and made their way to the city of Raptor, a place where mortals and undead seem to coalesce and coexist mostly. After entering Raptor, the party began gathering intel, forming a plan, and before long, they were off to raid a manor containing their nemesis, Baracus and Nayla, greater vampires who happened to be the core leadership of the city and lackeys of Amorphous Perch. After slaying these evildoers, reinstalling a new and mortal leadership in the town, and with said leadership's blessing and some magic lanterns, the party leaves Raptor in search of Locris's patron. A series of strange roadside events later, the party stumbles upon a pirate community known as Bloatboat, and from there unto the cave hidden quarters of a hermit Kinku wizard and follower of Nerul. 'Twas in these quarters a game 'twas played with the deck of many things, after which, as promised, the party was transported in a flash to the base of a great dark tower. It was here the party learned that the bugbears were capturing surface elves, trading them to mind flayers in the Underdark for weapons and magic trinkets, and the mind flayers in turn would sell the elves to the vampires of Shadowfell for various rare spell components, information, and relics. Wasting no time, the party heads into the tower and to the dungeons to free Drassic Revan. Though his essence seems trapped or bound in a massive diamond, the party free him from his bonds and immediately ascend the tower to confront Amorphous Perch, ancient vampire, sworn enemy of the Sands of Justice, the usurper of lords, the country slitter, the slave taker and family eater, the mother slayer and the plague bringer. Combat ensued, Amorphous and his lieutenants and the Sands of Justice. Though the battle was intense, at about the time the tides were turning for the worst, Locris used a throne of bone and managed to free his patron. Drassic Riven, true lord of Shadowfell, once returned to his full strength, with a simple wave of his hands, eviscerates the enemies upon the battlefields, bodies and souls, including Amorphous Perch. After a bit of dialogue between Drassic and Locris, the Lord of Shadowfell teleported the party and roughly 50 elven captives directly back to the King of Brightwood's throne room upon the material plane. The king and royal guard are initially startled by the arrival, but are soon overjoyed at the return of the party and many of their missing citizens. After a chance to bathe, clean up, and relax, the king hosts a banquet to reveal the tale, praise, and even reward the party for their valiant efforts. Logus, around this time, is approached by Zeriotol Yaxilius, former ally and advisor, secretly an ancient copper dragon, but also greatly involved with his realm's protection and collateral damage. The realm of dragons. In his elven form, he speaks about a promotion within his organization, due mostly to his latest success, seeing to the slaying of the last snow, without getting involved directly. He has been asked to look into dead end or like cold case subjects, the first of which happens to deal a lot with Logos's father, his adventuring party, the Shades Avian, and a missing shadow dragon of some note. Zeriotal provides the party with a large sum of money, with the promise of more should they help. Once agreed, he suggests following Logos's father's last known footprints to the T, even though this likely means entering the Feywild through one of its many hidden doors or portals. He suggests speaking with Logos's mother for the details on his last known whereabouts, and also suggests that he and the party reconvene there at a later date to perhaps concoct a plan. So, after tales of food and drinks, and you guys telling a whole crowd of elves and nobles on top of the king and some other royals. After tales, food, drinks, and it then comes to an evening of rest in your own private quarters, plush and fancy, with silks and silver trim here and there, stocked with quality blankets, foods, wines, candles, incense, and more, pillows and cushions of quality. You find yourselves quietly and peacefully waking up by the chirping of birds and the position of the sun. And you realize, as you guys kind of come to after a rather long evening, it is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, in this elven lounge, this guest quarters in the royal palace, you've got this grand arching ceiling. You each have your own private quarters with like a connected common room. You've essentially been given like a small wing of the palace to your guys' self. You have everything you would need and more. The elves are very pompous and plush. There's various fonts with perfumed oils and things, and on top of candles, high quality linens and draperies and different. Everything seems to be trimmed in silver or gold. Like it's kind of over the top, but very lavish, as one would expect the royalty's guest quarters to be. And before we get too far rolling, as you guys kind of come to, I'm going to go ahead and start with a Constitution saving throw from Renwick. You're up, Mr.
Sorry.
Turner.
Sorry, I missed that. You asked for a con save, right?
Just from you.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Try this new die out for the first time. And natty 18 for 21.
You sleep like a baby. It's just, heavenly almost. So, as you guys come to in the early afternoon the following day, it is not long before you guys see that you are not alone. That there are like a couple of servants also dressed in this like very over the top, gaunty and pompous garb that would indicate that they are in fact like servants and like a sort of butler capacity, and there is one on either side of the main entrance slash exit of your guys' wing, if you will. But aside from that, yeah, tell me how you guys kind of proceed from here.
Renwick would probably get up. I'd imagine after what we went through, we all kind of look like unshaven shit. So I think he gets up and like takes his time, takes a nice hot bath, soaks it up, shaves, kind of primps himself a little bit, shines up his armor and whatnot. Just kind of takes full advantage of the amenities before going to find the rest of the party.
Yeah, little Chris would probably get up, grab a bite to eat, get kind of creeped out seeing Hourglass above people's heads.
One thing you notice, most of the people you encounter in the palace are high elves, and for whatever reason, the sand above in the hourglasses above the high elves moves so much slower.
And then he'll make his way towards, I guess, the waiting room to see if everybody else is up and moving yet.
I think Glader would have maybe gotten up a little bit before everyone else, and asked for like the servants to like bring him like various foods and everything. So he'd just been like sitting in like the common area, just like trying like 10 different plates sitting in front of him, like trying all this different food, and just like frustratingly throwing everything back onto the plate because everything still tastes like ash.
And it's like nice plates, like it's like the toppest notch charcuterie you've ever seen, like rare cheeses and meats that have been cured in foreign and exotic ways, and yeah, all of it tastes like ash.
So he had just been experimenting all morning, uh, and then just as he sees, I guess Renwick and Locris come out first, he just nods over to them and just kind of sits down next to him. So, you guys sleep all right?
I died.
That in your sleep, or
No, I just passed out and it's like I was dead.
oh, okay. I would just clarifying because a few of us did legitimately die yesterday.
Well, you shouldn't do that,
Yeah, I try not to. I don't know why I keep stumbling into it, but still here.
Well, I mean, you're probably the most religious of all of us, so maybe you're just rather keen on meeting your god.
Yeah, let's just say that. That's what it is.
Figure out which one actually cares enough about you enough to take your soul.
Yeah, no. Still guess I'm still figuring that out. No, although it was strange seeing Marinette again, but a little copacetic. Seeing or not copacetic, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. You get the point. Seeing her finally finished off for good, and she was a terror to my homeland, so yeah, it's a nice little bit of closure there. Although I guess it's not entirely close because fucknuts, her son, or not her son, the queen's son is still out and running about.
Well, I have to agree. It was rather cathartic to see Amorphous get turned to dust after what he did to Borsland and did to my family. But well, that wasn't no good deed goes unpunished. And he just kind of like gestures to his skin, and he's got that very dull gray look. Like he's basically aesthetically a gray. Just still has his personality and everything.
Well, at least you're mentally still with it.
That's a fair point. I just always figured when I was, gonna eventually go gray, it'd be more of a salt and pepper kind of thing, and he kind of runs his hand through his hair.
And just tell people you used to be a statue, came to life.
That's not actually a bad idea. That's quite the conversation starter. I'll have to keep that one in mind.
Oh, look, there's Logus. What the fuck you do to your eyes?
He
looks
kind
like
of
he's been
stares at you with these
smoking.
like red eyes in the sunlight. Yeah. He squints because direct sunlight makes it hard for him to see now.
Does he have like Mothman eyes visually, like super big red glaring eyes, or is it just like his irises are red,
I feel
but
Yeah, does he
otherwise
look-
normal eyes?
I feel like it's like the red eye you would get in like a flash of a camera. His eyes just kind of light up that eerie reflective red whenever they're in the
Oh,
sunlight
okay.
for whatever
So, like
reason.
when you catch an animal in the darkness and you see like just a hint of light kind of reflects off of. Okay, gotcha. That's
Like
honestly,
albino eyes.
it's pretty sick though. I know it's not ideal for him, but makes him look pretty badass in my head.
And yeah, it's about this time that Blade, though you are, having a good sleep, out of nowhere, someone is a knuckle deep in your nose, in your nose hole, out of nowhere, like hard.
Oh, what the hell?
As you come
I kind
to,
of wake up.
as you wake up, as you come to, your shadow flips you off on the other side of the room.
Oh, fuck. You're real. I thought I dreamt you.
He laughs at you, flips you off again, and sneaks behind you and like flicks you in the ear, and you feel it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I was gonna ask a question. So with this shadow figure and being, I can obviously feel him, see him. No one else can really see him, but can Archie see him?
Do you have a way of communicating with Archie, or you guys can feel kind of like as a familiar? You guys have like in tune emotions. You could potentially try to utilize Archie to see him, or I guess how you find out is on you.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just wondering if like he was like pestering me while I was sleeping, if Archie could see him while I was sleeping.
Oh yeah, potentially for sure.
Trying to ward him off, keeping his claws up in the air if he's still a crab. Just, I don't know. Oh, Jesus, you're real. God damn it. Okay. And I guess, yeah, I'll kind of roll out of bed, uh, kind of walk by. You said is there two guards near the door?
Not guards. They are high elven folk, and they are dressed in very pompous, like over the top kind of clothing. They're wearing the garb to kind of indicate that they are servants in a sort of butler type of role. And there are two of them just kind of hanging out in the common area should you need them.
Okay, gotcha. But they weren't like peering at me while I was sleeping or anything.
No, you would each have your own quarters, so I imagine you each have your own private room.
Okay, gotcha. I'll just kind of walk out of my my quarter there and just be like, I'm sorry. Direct me to. I smell something good. Assuming that's breakfast. Maybe it's lunch. What time is it?
It would not matter, sir. It is the beginning of the afternoon, but whichever you desire, breakfast, lunch, say the word. The king was hoping to catch up and maybe have a word over a meal anyway, but alas, did not want to wake you.
Well, I appreciate it. Perhaps a mixture of the both. Maybe a brunch. I don't know if that's a thing. Anyways, yeah, I'll make my way to the group.
I'll see to it immediately, sir. And he leaves.
So, yeah, you see Blade come down, and he's got Archie on his shoulder, Spectral Crab, and Blade just kind of rubbing his head, just kind of still in a haze, waking up.
Morning, buddy. You gotta try this lobster bisque. It's to die for. Gladier.
What?
I was going to offer a bite to Gladier also.
Later, kind of like wrinkles his nose as he still just smells ash, and it. Uh, nah, I had a little bit of food before everyone got up. I think I'm good.
I'll hold out the bowl to Blade.
I'm sorry, I'm a little slow this morning. What did you say this was?
Lobster bisque. The soup with lobster, apparently. I don't know. It's more expensive than what I usually eat.
Blade will come up to it and be ready to take maybe like a spoonful of it, and then he'll stop and then slowly turn his head and look at Archie and be like, "Is this all right with you? I mean, I think a crustacean of some sort, similar to your kind. Would you be offended?"
He gives you a
And
couple of clicks. He'd eat it.
you guys are pretty brutal. Sure, I'll have some. Thank you, Locust.
All right. Well, I know it's only been a day, but I do got to go check in with the parents. Let them know that shit's all done before we head off towards Nightwood. I don't know about you guys. I think I could use some replenishment on some items.
Nightwood. I've heard of
Sell it.
Morningwood.
God damn it, Blade.
Sorry, I had to.
No, I think we're well, we've earned a little retail therapy. Uh, well, not to mention Gladiator got stripped of just about all of his shit, so we're sitting on quite a pile of coin, and might have a few extra things to cash in for additional coin. So yeah, I say we go get stocked up. I mean, just look around. I'm sure they've got all kinds of fancy shit.
Yeah, Glader perks up a little bit at the mention of shopping and magical items. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it could have hurt to, get some cool new stuff. I mean, that might make me feel a little better.
Yeah, that sounds great. Locust, are you gonna finish that bisque?
Help yourself. They can always make more. Isn't that what you
Excellent.
do at their rich friend's house? You eat all the food knowing they'll buy it?
Blade takes the bowl, starts eating, and Archie also partakes, even though his little spectral claws are probably just moving freely through it.
As you guys kind of start getting comfortable and ready for your day, the elvish servant returns and he informs you that the feast has been prepared in your honor, and the king awaits at your earliest leisure. And he bows deeply and then kind of goes and stands once again, just kind of adjacent to the door, opposite his partner.
Right, let's go see the king and get our grub on.
Ugh. All right, yeah, let's go.
All right, so as you guys kind of make your way out of your private chambers and back to where you know the main hall to be, you guys kind of travel down these really lavish hallways. There's these tall, great paintings of former elves that have done various deeds in the past. There's end tables that are studded with silver and gold and various jewels. You see fluffy, pompous chairs and plush cushions, and all the way to this like grand arching main hall where several chandeliers hang, and room for close to 1,000 people if they really tried. And at the center of this large room is just kind of this long table that has been laid out, and it is quite the spread. It looks to be like a bunch of breakfast food on one end. There's several different types of eggs that have been cooked. There's hard-boiled, scrambled, over easy, deviled eggs. There's bacon, and then there's like sausage patties and links. There's pancakes and various butters and syrups of varying flavors. And then on the other side is just like a bunch of like fresh salad and greens and various exotic dressings and thinly sliced like exotic meats and cheeses and things like that, almost like kind of like charcuterie style. And it's just kind of there's also several different types of what appear to be pastas and small like slider like sandwiches type of situation going on. And it's just one hell of a spread. And aside from several guards that kind of seem to be on upper balconies and around the entrances, the only person aside from you guys in this entire grand room is the king. And he sits opposite side of the table is where you guys enter. And he kind of smiles and stands. Well, glad you have awoken. Please, indulge yourselves, and me a bit. Come, sit. He gestures to the spread.
Locris will sit and start grabbing food, and after taking a bite, and just, oh god, this is so good. Just take portions and push it onto Gladier's plate as well. You gotta try this.
Glader just kind of again like wrinkles his nose at it, and just it takes like tiny little bites of everything. To see, so he's tried a great deal of foods by this point because they had a meal last night, breakfast this morning, and now he's trying everything here. Um, and everything tastes like ash. Is there anything he like hasn't tried? Like,
So I will
not
say,
metagaming.
give
But
me
I
an
do know some things.
investigation check as you kind of look over this spread.
Yeah. Without trying to metagame too much, I do know from your description there are two things that still have taste in it. So I guess just seeing if he just like stumbles upon that and figures it out. Investigation. That's a 13 on the die. +4. When did I get a +4 in investigation? Well, that's 17.
Nice. 17 is definitely enough. Everything tastes like ash. You're going through it, you're nibbling on things. The cream tastes like ash. The pancakes taste like ash. The meats taste like ash. Doesn't matter what kind of cheese or bread or slice of this or that you go through. And then something sticks. An ingredient that seems to be occasionally mixed in with some sort of eggs. A spicy pepper. It kicks. It tastes kind of like ash, but spicy ash, and it's the spice overpowers the ash flavor ever so slightly, just briefly, and you stumble upon a bowl full of spicy peppers.
Yeah, I think he just like stands up like like in shock and excitement like so fast that like he like knocks the chair over behind him and just like reaches over and grabs the peppers like just the entire bowl and then just like rights the chair and sits back down and just starts eating the peppers one by one.
The king
Just look.
immediately like looks annoyed, but not that you have taken the peppers. He's annoyed that we have run out of peppers. He's like snapping his fingers. Servant, hey, more peppers. Do you not see? More.
And
Renwick looks over and is just like, "You'll have to forgive him. That's how he recharges the fire breath."
Interesting. Well, I will be brief, but I will also cut to the chase. Zeriatal has become a friend of mine, and I know that perhaps you are not long for Brightwood, so I can offer you a variety of services. Not only can I take you to the edge of my domain and point you in the right direction, the quickest path between here and Nightwood, but it would do wonders, I think, for the PR situation you guys have created in my country. Pushing for mortality, the mortal race's equality is something I've only recently become interested in doing, but I feel that if there was a bit of a public display of us kind of palling around, going about, well, it would do well. It would find many eyes and ears that the king, royal blood, is palling around with mortals. I think it will push what we have begun a little farther down the road. So, I propose that I assume you have another adventure in front of you, and you are going to stock up in the royal city is the place to do so, I assure you. But perhaps you allow me, the King of Brightwood, to escort you around our fine city to the shops and various places you will be heading, so we get a bit of public eye and you guys restock your goods and perhaps enjoy yourselves at a local tavern.
That sounds good. You don't mind venturing into the ghetto of the town, do you, Your Majesty?
I'm sorry, sir, the ghetto. You are in the royal city. There is no ghetto here.
Where the tieflings live.
Oh, yes, I mean, tieflings are permitted to come and go in the royal city, but there is no, only high elven stock reside within the walls. There is no, outer perimeter like perhaps Sillerin, where you are from. I assure you, you will find no ghetto here in the royal city.
I'm not opposed to it if anybody else is not.
Great. Well, he pours himself like a big glass of like orange juice, and then he puts like a flute of champagne, just kind of dumps it into it, and he says, "Well, energize, eat, gather your strength. A full day of not only acquiring gear, but also pandering to the public awaits us. I think we'll be traveling in a bit of style as well." He kind of smirks as he sits back down in his chair, kind of stares off as he's kind of like pondering, kind of giving each one of you the eye, wondering why Gladier is just housing a bowl of spicy peppers.
Perhaps we could stop by. You said there's a tavern, maybe on our journey.
Yes, there is an entire district just dedicated to recreation. Many taverns, in fact.
Blade's gonna look to the group and be like, I'm sorry, can we? Maybe? At some point?
Glader raises his hand and with like a mouthful of food, or mouthful of peppers. Do you know if in any of those taverns make any kind of like special drinks with these peppers?
If you would like, I could have some servants whip something up. The cooks in my palace are, well, powerful wizards in their own right, I guess. Wizards of culinary arts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just I was just curious if there's maybe some sort of like spicy drink, some sort of alcoholic beverage with a little kick to it that might, you know, just yeah. Never mind. It's if there's not, it's fine. No big deal.
He
And
calls over like his personal servant and has a chat with him. Have it done. He kind of salutes and then runs off.
I mean, you could just order some here and maybe stash them in your pockets.
he says that as Glader's already like dumping the second bowl into his bag.
Once again, the king's like annoyed, but not that you're taking all the peppers. Like, servant, look, the peppers. Like sends him off for another bowl. So, as you guys kind of make your way through breakfast, brunch type of style situation, and the king sips mimosas. He once you guys are ready, he kind of offers to take you up this flight of stairs that's kind of sits kind of behind his throne. Red carpets, plush with silver trim and gold trim everywhere, all the way. And he walks you guys up to this archway where on the other side of this archway behind his throne, there is this grand balcony. It looks like it kind of is somewhere on the palace. It overlooks the exterior. And as you guys kind of approach, he shakes your hands. He's like, "Well, come right this way, but come with me." And he shakes first. Logus's hand, shakes his hand, says, "Right this way." And Logus walks through the archway onto the balcony, and he shakes Renwick's hand. And he says, "Well, he whispers something to Logos. You guys don't really catch what he says." But Renwick, you're next up in line, and he shakes your hand and he pulls you close and he says, "Thank you." He whispers it to you. "Thank you for your sacrifice. You've done right by me and my people, and I aim to return the favor."
I firmly curl my tentacle around his hand and look him square in the eyes and just say, "Sands of justice, sir. More than happy to help."
He does everything in his power not to show how disgusted he is, but you can tell he is very uncomfortable right now. So as you pass by, Blade comes up next, and he shakes your hand, Blade, and he pulls you in close, and he says, "Thank you for your sacrifice. I aim to return the favor. You made sure a lot of my people returned home. That means something to me." And he kind of whispers this to you.
That sounds like the great name of a song. My sacrifice. I'll take note of that.
Gladier, you come up next, and he pulls you in close, and he says, "Thank you for doing what you do. Your worship to your gods and your dedication to your friends. It shows. You are great allies in my realm, and I intend to see that it stays that way. Friends help each other, do they not?"
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I haven't known these boys for very long, but I'd die for them and think they'd do the same for me. So we're always welcoming new friends and new allies. So we'd be happy to help.
He nods, and you guys all kind of pass through the archway onto this balcony. And finally, Locris, you kind of come up to shake the king's hand, and he leans in close to whisper something to you, and then shouts in pain. And he pulls his hand away from yours quickly, and he looks at his palm and says, he clears himself and composes himself. I apologize. And he shows you the palm of his hand. And Locris, you see a glowing pentagram in the palm of his hand slowly fade away. And he just kind of brushes it off, says, I'm sorry to impose, but are you aware that you are affected by a rather powerful curse? And if you are aware, do you have it under control? Is it going to be a problem if we go venturing out and about? He gestures to the rest of the party standing on the balcony.
I know nothing of a curse.
I assure you, sir, you carry a powerful curse upon you. Lorington and Gardol, it is not necessary. Please, stand down. And before your very eyes, Locris, decloaking similar to that of like the Predator in the sci-fi movie franchise, two elves in full plate armor, glimmering in gold, have their swords already drawn and inches from your throat.
Well, then I would have noticed them because I have blind sight fighting.
Or you saw them come in immediately as the king would have proclaimed or called out in pain, and of all the places they came from, 'twas the ceiling. Just dropping in, fully armed and ready to go. But under the king's command,
I know nothing of a curse.
Under the king's command, they withdraw and they stand aside, bodyguards. But the king.
Can I insight to see if I can figure out what he's talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
All right. 16.
With a 16, you believe he is being genuine, but you are unsure as to what he is referring to.
If I am cursed, please let me know of it.
He waves his hand over you, and his eyes go milky white. And for a moment, tendrils of white seem to leap off of him in every direction. Several of them wash over you. A cold chill runs up your back. And then they're gone. His eyes snap open. He says, interesting. Are you perhaps a follower of Nerul? From the stories you all told of the wizard and the deck of many things, I did not think you were a follower of Nerul, but perhaps I was wrong?
I do not follow Nerul. I happen to be acquainted with the ruler of Shadowfell, but that's it.
Well, an artifact of Nerul's, the god of death, you carry upon your person. What is known as the Berserker's Curse is his handiwork, his calling card, a way to turn an ally into an enemy. 'Tis what he is most known for. Be careful, tiefling. It is not a good enemy to make, the god of death. No rule will plod for a millennia just to stub your toe. It is not wise to cross him.
I will cast remove curse on myself.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, what's my wisdom save? 5. 21.
You cast it, and it is significantly more difficult, but you feel like something is blocking it. You feel like you are resisting your own spell for whatever reason, and you force it through. You force it to happen, but you know that for this to take place, for it to happen, you have to remove the item in question. You cannot have it where you currently do. You need to drop it to the ground or otherwise repel it from yourself.
I call forth the mace. And then obliterate it, essentially. Well, the version in my hand.
Yeah, you unattune officially to the Berserker's mace. And it, for the moment, lies relatively powerless. Still in your inventory, but you are free of its grasp for now.
I'll take a look at it and be like, huh. Then I'll look at Renwick. Guess you were right. And throw it over to Renwick.
Renwick, it's a big, the whole handle is made of like obsidian, and sitting on this big obsidian handle is just a marble white ball at the top, and the ball seems to be freshly splattered with blood.
I think when you toss it to him, he like instinctively catches it and then just goes, huh, and drops it. I told you. The goddamn thing was cursed, and you damn near got us killed. You damn near had us kill you multiple times. We got to do something about that. I'm gonna be honest. I've got a hard time having to even sell that, but we've got to bury it or disenchant it or something.
Yeah, we'll see what's in town. Maybe there's a magic person who could do something with it. Like I got rid of the dagger.
The king
Some
kind
fucking
of
sage or something.
The king apologizes profusely. He's like, I apologize. I did not know that you did not know that perks of being king, royal blood, and a little bit of divination. With that, the king and Locris kind of join you all on the balcony, and the balcony overlooks this grand city. And you notice the king kind of does not allow his guards to get on the platform. He's like, no, you do not. These are heroes of the realm. We do not need bodyguards today. Thank you. And they go to protect. But your majesty, we must. He's like, no. Get. He like shoos him away. And as he kind of steps over to the balcony, suddenly a low, chopping sound can be heard. And the railing that kind of overlooks the outer area seems to just extend rather than the half moon that it was kind of over on this like balcony type shape. It becomes a full moon. This whole railing just kind of extends in a full circle around the party, and the balcony itself detaches and begins to fly off. And now at this point, you guys get a good look at Brightwood Royal Palace. This is the home of the High Elven royal family, rulers of Brightwood, and the official capital of the region. The entire city is one massive single piece of intricate High Elven architecture, containing several independent towers, each running its own wing of this like massive structure. And at its center, of course, the royal palace, and at its exterior, a full 360 of 30-foot walls with several gates kind of coming and going into each of these like wings. There's no roads leading through the city. It's all just kind of it's weirdly laid out. It's laid out like a wheel spoke or like a pizza for easier reference. Each kind of slice of this pizza not only has a wall, but narrowing into the center where the palace is. They each district, each kind of area has its own tower within the palace. So you kind of look at the palace, and it's just, a dozen or more towers just kind of conglomerated together. Like, it's just this massive, pyre after pyre after pyre. And as you guys kind of go around, each of these wings have like different purposes. As you're flying over, well, the first one you guys fly over is like the agricultural wing, where the elves kind of magically grow and harvest many different plants, fruits, and vegetables. And it also looks like to be where they stable some livestock. But as you're flying over, I mean, it's only a few moments as you guys kind of look over and look down. You see, a small group of these high elves dressed in their kind of like pompous farmer clothing. They take a whole crop of corn from seed to harvest in seconds. You watch them magically plant the seeds, and a handful of others cast a spell, and a handful of others cast a spell, and before your very eyes this corn literally shoots up out of the ground and off into the stalks, and several elves begin harvesting it. And you see a similar process with several other fruits and vegetables and things like that. There also appears to be like a military wing where you kind of fly over and you see dozens of soldiers where they train and drill, but they're all in these like glistening gold and silver like full plate armors that are tailored to fit. It's really like an impressive sight to see, even them just marching about. It looks like this district also has like a large jail / dungeon type of situation. Also a couple of like barracks. As you kind of continue over the next wall, it appears to be like an artisan wing. Many of the realm's finest craftsmen work and live here. Swordsmiths, armorers, fletchers, tailors, carpenters, and more, all performing their duties. As you kind of sail over to the next, there is an economy and trade wing filled with many merchants and a variety of marketplaces to visit. It also holds like a large, what appears to be a royal bank. It looks to do some kind of business here. As you guys kind of fly over, you see the recreational wing that the king had mentioned, filled with many taverns and alehouses for anyone visiting or looking to relax. It's also filled with many beautiful parks and fountains, bathhouses, statues, libraries, museums, etc. And the royal wing is obviously the very center of this spoke, or kind of like pizza, if you will. But also there's like a temple district. Finally, as you guys kind of make your way around to where you were prior, you come over the temple district, and there looks to be several temples to several different deities, but none of them are as grand or magnificent as the cathedral to Corellian Larthian, the god of elves. It seems to tower over most of the other buildings in the district. But as you guys kind of make your way around this massive elvish city, the king kind of looks to you guys and says, where to first?
Well, do you have a elven equivalent of a pawn shop? We've got an assortment of goods we'd like to offload just to see how much money we've got to work with, but I think we've got a few ideas amongst a lot of us. Where's your finest district? Where I'm from, they have a place called Rodeo Drive.
Well, I don't know about a pawn shop per se. I'm royalty. I buy everything new. But so let's head to the economy and trade wing, anyways. And he put, with a wave of his hand, the balcony, floating balcony, seems to speed up. And after a full wrap around the palace, it goes and sets itself down in this economy and trade wing. Now, rather than street vendors and things, there does appear to be like an outside market, or two or three rather, for produce and things like that. But most of these shops are proper buildings. They have signs on them dictating what they sell or specialize in, and you find yourself in a situation where there are many general goods stores. So, what are you looking to offload?
So I tagged it for you in chat, but that's a list of things we have to sell. We had a silk and velvet mantle engraved with moonstones, a jeweled gold crown, 5 gold bars, and 5 gold lanterns. I'm assuming we would have double checked to make sure none of these are magical before we offload them.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're just fancy things.
Correct. Just fancy things. When I gave you the items, did I not give you a gold piece value with those?
I can search around. Let me look. I don't believe I got that, but
if not, I
could be
can look
wrong.
it up. Some of those, most of those items are legit on the in the DM's guide, so they should be findable in D&D Beyond or something like that. I believe. The golden lanterns are actually worth 20 gold pieces each, but I think gold bars have a set value as well as the other ones. But if not, I'll look it up. I have the notes somewhere. Give me just a minute.
From what I see, the silk and velvet mantle engraved with moonstones, golden music box with intricate carving, and jeweled gold crown, total sum of about 12,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that mantle was like 7,000 something by itself, right? So, yeah, sounds about right.
God, that came from session 38.
Yeah, we've been sitting on some of this stuff for a really long time.
It's just before the Beholder.
You said 20 gold a piece on those lanterns, Sean?
Correct. 20 gold apiece on the lanterns. And normally this would be a situation where they only offer you half of what the item's worth. But considering you showed up with His Royal Highness, they pay full price.
Oh, I suppose helping out the town has its perks. And he kind of like looks around at his group and then looks at how out of place we probably are in this area. But getting the the royal treatment.
You see people coming up to His Majesty and bowing and waving, and some people bring up to get him to sign autographs. And Blade, strangely enough, several people also approach you for an autograph.
Oh, I didn't realize I was recognized around this area. Well, I mean, I guess I am a hero.
I mean, it's so this people like kind of fangirl out a little bit. You know, they're talking. I mean, I was there in Lead Linton when your first concert was heard, and then Lord Svellison invited you to the manor, and I was like, I was there, man. I knew I was there for Ground Zero. You know, ultimate roadie. And he like throws up the devil horns.
Oh, a true fan. And I'll look around and be like, I have nothing to sign with. Do you have anything?
Oh yeah, he provides several pieces of parchment and an ink and quill. He's just like super excited, and same with pretty much the whole crowd.
I'll sign it and then I'll roll it like a scroll and tie it with maybe a broken string from my lute.
He fangirls out, like throws it above his head, and it causes like a small ruckus. Several of them kind of like dive for it. He has to like clasp it to his chest and fight the crowd to escape.
If you truly love it, you'll fight for it. And I'll make my way.
I let me see for gold bars. I'll double check, but I want to say 50, but maybe 500. Let me check.
According to a
Go ahead.
so I say according to a Reddit post, they price it at about 1,300 a gold bar.
Okay, so I have I saw that Reddit post as well, but I'm looking at it
A
each
5 pound gold bar is worth 250.
each gold bar is roughly 10 pounds, and each pound of gold is worth about 50 gold pieces. So I'm reading 500
Right.
gold pieces per gold bar.
Sounds good to me.
So 500 a pop. I forgot how many I gave you. Hopefully not too many.
5.
Yep. So everybody just take an additional 500.
The king is kind of being nosy, poking around at what the shops, kind of seeing what you guys are selling, causing a crowd to come, kind of watch you guys do your shopping. But he kind of asks you. He kind of just parks this flying balcony in the middle of what should be like a street, and he's just kind of like being nosy. Like, so, what else you guys looking for? We gotta go somewhere else. You get everything here.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I know a few of us are going to be looking for some new armor, maybe some new weaponry. We're always interested in the finer magical things. I know I'll be looking for a few scrolls and whatnot. So wherever you'd recommend, I'm sure you have the finest taste, and they're certainly going to allow us a fair price if we're traveling with Your Highness.
Well, they're kind of stuck up, to be honest. Fair price. You don't want the royal price, my friend. For whatever reason, it seems to double. But perhaps a fair price if I am around. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check, Renwick.
Okay. What is that these days? +4. All right. Let's go new die. Fuck. That's an 8 total.
Yeah, he says, well, at least they'll probably give you a fair price. But yes, alas, armor and weaponry. That sounds interesting. He rubs his hands together, and then he kind of like just makes his way back to this floating balcony, which hovers mere inches off the ground, awaiting for your guys' next stop.
I would like to see a bookshop.
Of course, we might be able to find one. He just kind of like zips you around the current wing that you're in. You know, you fly down the road and circle the block a bit, and then he kind of hovers a bit, and he's like, a few bookshops here. We have a grand library, more than one. Is there something you would be interested in perhaps checking out? I could help.
I'm trying to figure out if anybody has a tome of leadership and inspiration.
Ooh, magical tomes. Well, let's ask the bookstore. He kind of drives recklessly this flying balcony down and lands it, kind of is centered near this bookstore. And he says, after you. And he kind of gestures towards this, very pompous kind of looking building, the elven architecture with the blue, like, rooftops and things, gold trim everywhere, carvings on every single, angle and door entryway. It's over the top.
Perfect. That's exactly the type of store that if anybody had it, it would be them. And I walk in.
An older elf, not elderly rather, but, along in their years. You don't see elves get, smile lines or wrinkles very often, but showing their age, glad to greet you. A fellow pursuer of knowledge, go ahead and give me an insight check, Locris.
Natural 20 for 21.
Yeah, give me a second. You could tell right away that this dude was about to tell you to fuck off and get out of his shop, probably on account of you're a tiefling. But you walked in with the king of Brightwood. This dude gives you bad vibes right off the bat. Though you have reached many high elves in this nation and kind of, tilted it in the favor of, reasonable, equality. This is one of them that didn't quite get the message. Doesn't think much of the mortal races, and you pick up on that disdain right away.
Yes, I'm inquiring about a specific book. It's called The Tome of Leadership and Inspiration. You wouldn't by chance happen to be one of the good stores that carries it, are you?
Well, he looks to the king. Back to you. No, it's in the royal library. It's under lock and key. Everybody knows that. Bess, I think you got another 70 or 80 years to go. It was just used a century or two ago. You might be out of luck there, lad.
Can't say I didn't try.
His eyes kind of narrow. So, anything else I can help you with?
No, apparently you're a pedestrian store.
He looks taken aback. And the king's like, oh, well, he doesn't say anything. His eyes kind of go wide, and he's like, oh, just kind of follows you out. As you make your way back to the balcony, he's like, He fires it up. And, well, message can't reach everyone, but yeah.
No, but I would like to know if it has been a century or two, as it's a century for that book to become active, and I'd really like to check it out.
I will take you there right away. Let's move. He just like gears this thing with a wave of his hand, and you guys sail to the library, the palace library, rather. And he kind of walks you through it. There are several sages kind of going about their business, and it is in fact chained to a pedestal and under a tome of glass. Let me roll something real quick. And it does appear to need about 80 more years. 2 decades rather than 2 centuries. It appears the older elf must have misspoke. Things wire a little different when you live several hundred years, but it does look like it was used within 20 years or so.
I should have knew that elf didn't know what he was talking about with that rundown store. All right, on to more shopping.
Wait, Brightwood prides itself on having the most top-notch available, whether it's materials or shopkeeper. Do you think I should replace him, perhaps with this new coming wave of equality? We'll have a newer, more perhaps royally endorsed bookstore. See if we can't run him out of business or something. I'll make a fortune doing it, even if it fails, so it's worth trying, right?
Oh yeah, you find out what he sells a book for, and you sell yours for 1 gold less.
Exactly. I like your style. If you ever retire from adventuring, I might could use an economic advisor. Provided your Dark Lord allows such things.
I already have a retirement career set up.
Last. All the good ones do. He kind of like choppers back to the party where you guys are kind of chilling in the merchant district. As these guys kind of land, I'll pick up the rest of you. King kind of is like, weapons and armor then, and kind of choppers you over this like 30-foot wall that looks to be made, like the inner spokes or the inner walls that separate these slices of pizza rather, are like entirely made of metal. It's like, and it's not like piece by piece. It looks like it's just like one silverish coppery wall kind of reflects and shifts color. It looks like it's one solid piece. It doesn't look like it's interlocked together, however, part of this weird elvish architecture they got going on. But yeah, he floats you over the wall on this flying balcony towards the next kind of district, and it's the artisan district. Many high elven artisans hard at work, some of them armor and weaponsmiths. So tell me how you guys proceed.
Renwick will remove his +1 studded leather from the Temple of Cord and approach the blacksmith and just say, I'm looking to trade this in. Maybe find something a little bit sturdier, a little bit more flexible, something that's got range of motion.
He looks at it and, needs work, but I'll give you... He flicks his eyes over to the king, sees that you're there. He says, I guess I'll give you 1,500 for the suit.
Oh, that's more than generous. And he kind of like looks back over his shoulder. He goes, I'll tell you what, you help me find a new set of armor, and I'll take it for 1,000 for your services. And he just kind of winks at him.
He hops too. He jumps over, takes you by the nook of your arm, and walks you to just a short way down this little aisle where many racks or suits of armor sit on many like kind of mannequins. And he walks you up to a couple of suits of leather armor. One seems to be made of like entirely black leather and silver. This being, a studded +1 armor, but this suit of armor next to it is made of this like really rich red leather, and it has a lot of like these frillies and almost these weird cuts that almost resemble like feathers or maybe even scales in the right light. Like it's just this real rich red leather with also these like beads of silver woven into it, and these metals in different intricate designs, to stop a blow here and there of a +2 studded leather. This one, 3,500. Got to get an even 7 for the rich red leather. He kind of thumbs the chest piece and dusts a little bit of puts a little shine on one of the studs in the breast piece of it.
Well, I mean, the craftsmanship alone, that's I can't blame you there. You sure you can't come down on that price? Just a hair, though. I mean, for heroes of the
Blade.
realm, we'd be representing your shop and your wares here. I'm sure it'd drum up a little extra business for you.
Blade will kind of chime in and be like, I'm kind of in the business for some armor as well. I mean, could we cut a deal if we maybe get 2 sets? Do you have another? Like it's equal?
Blade, give me a persuasion check with advantage. Okay.
33.
Fucking 33. That's just a 33. Yeah. It's supposed to be 1 through 20. What the fuck? No.
Just a cool 30.
Yeah. So, as you guys kind of begin haggling with this shopkeep, the king is nearby, and the shopkeep's eyes kind of flick to the king, and the king kind of steps forward and he says, he clears his throat. Sorry, Sands of Justice. I don't mean to be rude, but I know things in the royal palace city. This royal palatial city they're very expensive. In fact, in most of Brightwood, they are very expensive. However, these artisans see their time and effort at a particular value. It is sort of uncouth within our culture to do what you call haggling. Now, that being said, you're allies of mine and friends of the crown. So, while I cannot offer you a discount at these fine shops, I can reimburse you, and I will reimburse you 10% of anything you spend this day, coin back in hand. But my merchants and artisans and etc., they expect to be paid full price, and I will help alleviate your pockets, but I cannot force a discount upon them.
Well, if anything, I think that really shows the character of your majesty. That's rather kind of you, and you'll have to pardon us. At least I can't speak for the others, but from where I'm from, our culture sort of thrives off of haggling. It's sort of a way of life for us, so I meant no harm by it, but I certainly appreciate that, and I'll take you up on the offer.
Absolutely.
And he forks over his $7,000 for the +2 ornate leather.
Okay, so I'll say keep a track of anything you guys buy because the grand total, 10% of the grand total will be reimbursed to you in coin.
Blade will step forward and be like, that is completely fair. And like Renwick, I come from an area that's indeed, there's a lot of haggling where I'm from, and it's just second nature to me. And I apologize.
No worries. Most of the motor races do this. It's part of their culture, like it is, kind of ours. But when you sit, as long as an elf can sit, and you watch a man craft a suit of armor over 50 years, it's almost like a piece of art. To let it go for less just seems like haggling a piece of their soul. It is quite some works of art, though what mortals see as a simple painting or a sword or a clever suit of armor, they don't often see the hundreds of years of effort and artistry that goes into it, which is kind of why the whole problem between the high elves and mortal races began in the first place. But alas, times must change, and we must kind of get used to one another, I suppose. Perhaps we'll have a council meeting about this haggling. Unfortunately, everyone in the immediate vicinity also happens to be very rich, so money is of little consequence to most that dwell within the palatial city.
Well,
All right.
if
Go ahead. You're role playing. I was just going to.
I just didn't want to so he obviously had one suit of armor. I didn't want to like assume that there were 2 + 2.
Oh, for sure, all day long. He, once Renwick takes one off the rack, he goes into a back room and replaces it immediately. There's another fine suit of armor sitting in replacement.
Oh, perfect. I'll have one of those as well, and I'll fork over the 7.
Excellent. He's happy for the transaction.
All right. Just to save time, real quick, looking at the list, can I get a. How much would a mithril half plate +2 cost?
+2 will come to an even 7. What's the mithril? What does the mithril do again? Make it lighter?
Yeah, just gets rid of that disadvantage.
Oh, for stealth or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call that an even 7 grand.
Okay, I'll take that. I'm gonna get a everlasting rations, Kyotum's ointment, a robe of useful items, and a wand of magic missiles.
Perfect. Yeah, all findable within a short distance from where you currently are. Just a couple of shops here, a couple of shops there. Bada boom, bada bing. You've cashed in.
Yeah, I think Glader's also gonna just be looking around the armor shop and all the various other stores as he follows Locust around. And I think I'm gonna end up getting a where is it? Boots of Elven Kind. Um, a belt of Giant Strength, and the Sentinel Shield, and the Gem of Brightness.
Okay, yeah. You between the two, the artisan and the merchant district, bouncing back and forth. You're wheeling and dealing, and you find everything that you need.
And he said, "Well, like the king is gonna reimburse us like 10% of everything."
Yes, 10% of the party's total purchase in the day will be reimbursed back to the party.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab Boots of Elvenkind and Dust of Disappearance and a Wand of Magic Missiles.
All right, yeah, for sure, easily enough. Why do I feel like I'm giving a bunch of kids submachine guns? Like,
Oh wait, actually, I forgot I wanted more. I was gonna also Chaotim's ointment
yeah, for sure.
and fuck it. I used to have a pearl. Oh, I don't know if I have enough attunement for the pearl of power too. Um,
Did you get your belt?
yeah, I got the belt. So the belt is attuned.
Glasses of dark vision.
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah. Could I see if there's any of the like the goggles of night or whatever it was, the dark that provide dark vision?
Give me just a sec. Boosh. Yeah, let's see here. There is some like night vision ish things you could purchase in this particular spot, but let me see here.
I mean, I did also like I got the general brightness. If there's not I do have that.
I'm but more like dark vision in the form of like potions and scrolls, not like an item proper.
Okay. No, I'll just stick with. Actually, no, I'll get. Yeah, like the scroll is that like a spell, like a dark vision type spell.
Correct. You essentially be casting dark vision on yourself or others, depending on if you wanted it in a scroll or a potion form.
Um, the how much would each like potion be, and like does it was last like an hour or 10 minutes?
The potion will be level times 1,000.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said that before.
And
Um,
I think the standard duration, what is it? I want to say it's an hour, but it could be 10 minutes now that you mentioned it. I'd have to look up the spell specifically.
yeah, I can't remember, but you said the level. What level is that spell? Let me check. Let me do some checking.
Right, I'll throw it down on Google real quick.
Dark vision spell lasts for 8 hours.
That's for 8 hours.
Nice. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, and it is a second level spell, so it'll be 2,000 for each potion.
Correct.
Okay. Um, I'm rich as fuck right now. I'll get two,
Okay, for sure.
just in cases. So that's another 4,000. I think there might have been one more thing. Got the kid enjoyment. I'm just gonna get a pearl of power just for the fuck of it, because that might come in handy. And then I think after that I'm done.
All right.
I'm sorry, you said you sold submachine guns.
That's why I've given out a couple of wands of magic missiles. It's just like it's the fuck shit up machine. It never misses. You just pummel shit. It's great, but if the whole party had one, you guys would have like a whole front line of murder.
Just to add to that, I think Blade would take some Boots of Elvenkind as well. That was the last thing on my list.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Let's see. I think plane shift is a little bit too above what is readily available. here currently, at least. It's a bit
I was
higher
just
than.
trying to think if I get sent to Shadowfell and where they're in the Feywild, how the fuck do I get back to them?
Well, when we come to that issue, I guess we'll have to cross that hurdle. But yeah, conundrum. So as you guys are kind of off shopping, acquiring various goods, is there anything else anybody needs to acquire?
So Logus wanted to get a +2 studded leather. Um, he would have got the braces of archery, the efficient quiver if I can find it, and the Keel Tim's ointment would have been on his list.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Also, if are the elven arrows different? Would they add anything different to the standard arrows that I would have?
I think Anthony wanted to know if the elven arrows are any special.
Did I mute myself on that? Sorry. Okay. Can you hear me? Am I good? Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, now.
Okay, sorry. I mixed up the mute button. My bad. What I said was my silly. What I said was I would count a quiver of arrows or a quiver of bolts as a +1 or +2 weapon. So if you wanted to spend the 3,500 on some +1s or 7K on some +2s, I would allow a set of 20 to be purchased, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, you could definitely purchase some enchanted arrows here.
Okay, I know. So the efficient quiver was it's only an uncommon item. Would I have been able to find it? The only reason I wanted it is because it can carry up to like 60 arrows, I think. So I it would be easier to track.
Let's see here. I'm gonna just roll a die real quick. What is it called again?
I'm assuming they changed it in D&D Beyond because I was looking for the quiver of Ilana, but they don't have that in D&D Beyond no more. They just call it an efficient quiver. It's basically like a +1 quiver.
I was gonna say like some of them I'm not familiar with. Let me take a peek at that item real quick.
Yeah, because I was looking in D&D Beyond just for something to carry more arrows, and that's the only other thing that came up other than a standard quiver.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable ask. That's not a too crazy of an item. The elvish community kind of been known for price gouging, though. I'm gonna have to get you for like 2,500 on that.
Okay, that's cool. That'll be it. I'll put the
Yeah,
list
for
in
sure.
the chat.
Okay, for sure.
And then for the robe, do you want to roll for it? Do you want me to?
Go ahead and roll for it. Just do it in chat.
All right.
Not bad. What'd you score? What'd you end up with?
Let's see. What was it? 9 100s. Oh. So 66 is 4 potions of healings.
Hey, Sean, and also, would I have been able to find, since we're out and about, and I would have noticed the sunlight sensitivity? I'm not looking for anything like crazy. Just maybe like some, like the equivalent of like sunglasses that would help in the daylight.
I would say you could probably find something like that if that's what you're looking for. Some like shaded lenses for, maybe laborers or alchemical work or something. Something that needed to guard the eyes. It's not unreasonable, but also, as long as your eyes are not in direct sunlight, they don't reflect red. So if you're just trying to hide the red, a proper hood would do the trick.
I was going for like sunglasses and a cloak. I want to look like Shaft out there.
Certainly, yeah. It'd be like an inconsequential piece. We'll call it a single gold piece to acquire the fantasy equivalent of some safety glasses.
And then you said that it's 1,000 gold per level for scrolls and potions, right? But we can pick from any spell list.
Not any spell list, just the wizard and the cleric spell lists.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was actually looking into.
The wizards of the Citadel are quite powerful, and same with the clerics of the elven god Corinthian Larthian.
Cool. So I am gonna pick up a scroll of remove curse, and
You might need several. Just periodically hit Locris with that shit, just to be sure.
Doesn't hurt.
Well, I think Renwick's always been like a little bit vain, and so he's looking to get this gray shit off of him. So
I mean, if you mentioned that out loud, the king would kind of. I would say that though you are not cursed proper, if there are desirable removed, you have a desire to have these side effects removed from the Shadowfell, the clerics would be able to aid you for a small donation to their church. You wouldn't have to go about it yourself. And that goes for any of you who feel overly cursed by the Shadowfell.
Well, in that case, I suppose I'll put my money elsewhere. Instead of remove curse, I'm gonna pick up tongues. Let's go with mass healing word and control water. So that's gonna be 2 3s and a 4, so 10k.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, so should we go to the temple and see if we could get rid of some of your guys' discomforts?
The king's all excited to go somewhere. He like revs up his his flying balcony.
Yes, I mean, I certainly want to swing by the clergy and whatnot and get us all fixed up internally. I think the only other thing we had potentially talked about is well, we're so nomadic. We did talk about potentially looking into some form of a little bit more permanent travel if you happen to have anything crafted. We had talked about maybe a cart. I mean, shit, you've got a balcony that flies around. Surely there might be some interesting way that we could travel. I mean, we do have a tendency to clear a lot of mileage. Then again, I guess where we're going, it'd be hard to take it with us. So maybe that's fruitless.
I mean, I have chariots. Some of them are pretty sweet, shoot blades and things, but alas, mostly military use. I mean, I might be able to talk one of the guard captains out of an older model, I'm sure, but they're mostly built for roads. We could see into it if it is what you desire.
Well, if my party thinks it's worthwhile, but I'm thinking now that we're gonna have a hard time taking something like that with us, unless you've got some sort of magic flying carpet or something.
Alas, I rely on the balcony and my own prowess. Well, using the balcony because I have guests. Usually I just zip around, you know. With a twinkle of his fingers, he kind of hovers briefly and smiles at you before he sets back down.
So you're saying you can't borrow your balcony for just a little while?
Then where would I drink my tea in the morning?
Fair enough.
In your room?
I don't know. It's stuffy in there sometimes, especially in the spring. He loads you guys up and whips you into the temple district. There are several deities here in the district, but all of their temples pale in comparison to the cathedral dedicated to Corellian Lothian, the god of elves. A giant moon-like symbol hangs above this stained glass window, and these giant doors kind of always open, it seems, to the public. But as you guys kind of make your way in there and meet up with the clergy, essentially, if there are any side effects from the Shadowfell you would like removed, they ask a humble 1,000 gold donation, and they would be happy to remove it for you via the power of the God of Elves.
Clear.
Let's lay down 1,000 gold, put his arms out, and just say, "Heal me."
She blasts you with what feels like a bucket of cold, ice cold holy water, even though it is like just a beam of light that erupts from her hands. And all of the color seems to return back to your hair, your skin, all of your pigment returns to normal. You are no longer a sad and gray halfling.
Glader's gonna toss the bowl of peppers that he's been snacking on this whole time behind him, and just walk up and just drop 1,000 gold down onto any nearby surface. Please, for the love of God, everything tastes like ash.
Same scenario. She hits you with a beam of light that feels like a cold bucket of water, but the air smells better. Like you almost can taste the incense and the oils that are burning. Like yeah, your sense of taste immediately returns.
He's gonna pull out like a shitty ration out of his pack, like probably like weeks old and stale, but just eat it and just
Logus
vomit
is gonna he's gonna slide a hand out of it before he eats it. He's gonna try to snatch it out of his hand.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Is this contested or
Yeah, I imagine.
would that be like athletics for me or just a straight dex?
I'd say straight dex.
Okay.
Potentially acrobatics, I guess. You might be able to pull that off.
Either one, it's a +1. That's a 16 on the die though for 17.
Yeah, I rolled a 9 total, but I'm gonna make it look like I was just excited to get my curse thrown off. I'm like accidentally smacked him, ran into him just to get to the front.
You're pretty sure he took a swipe at it, but you're not 100% confident. But Gladiator, it's musky, it's old, it tastes like your pocket, but it's a little salty. You're fucking in.
Yeah, he just devours it and then just like sits down in a pew.
Logos, same deal. You're looking for a K, 1K to cure your ailment.
Oh, 100%.
Same deal. A beam of light hits you that feels like a bucket of water, and suddenly your eyes are no longer red in the sunlight, and your sunlight sensitivity is no more.
You know, I really wish we knew this before I spent 1 gold on some glasses, but I'm gonna make them work as a fashion statement.
I'll be going to Shadowfell enough time soon enough. I think I'd rather not have to worry about it right now. And we'll do the same thing.
All right, yeah. 1K later, she washes away the remnants of the realm of shadow, and you are no longer threatened by teleporting off course or what else did I? Oh yeah, the hourglasses seem to fade. You no longer see them.
Well, that part could have stayed. Make money as a fortune teller.
So, as a blade, or are you also interested in dispelling your shadow?
Oh, I don't know. Do you have anything that could take care of something like this? And he'll kind of point at his face with the scar kind of going from his, was it to his mouth?
The scars of battle are too much for you. You would have us heal it.
Well, it's, when you've got a beautiful face, it's tough to have such a blemish on it. When my audience looks at me, they demand perfection, and that's what I am.
She ponders for a moment. Greater restoration, or even a lesser restoration, is a bit of a different expected donation, young lad, but we can do this. Typically,
How much are we talking?
typically for the lesser restoration, which I believe should do the trick, we're still looking at a couple of 1,000 gold pieces, but only for the elven Lord of Light, I assure you. She bows her head.
Oh, it's worth it for me. Please, work your magic.
And with a wave of her hand, like a warm glow kind of like fades over your face. And your scar heals beyond recognition. It is no longer visible.
And there's one other thing. And he kind of glances or like turns back really quick. He's like, "Stop that!" Sorry. It seems like there's some sort of entity. Maybe my own shadow that's following me. Is that something that you could take care of?
She looks at you questioningly and she says, well, often those who return from the realm of shadow suffer from hallucinations. Perhaps for the humble price of 1,000 gold, we could offer you the same service we have offered your party.
Blade's gonna turn back to look and see if he can find his own shadow, see if it appears.
As you kind of look around, people are watching, but they're not paying as close of attention as you might be, and the shadow, when nobody's looking, it hits its knees and throws its hands like in like a prayer, like a begging sort of a thing, and it keeps shaking its head and like giving like the cut, like the cut across the throat area, it's like shaking its head and trying to like no, this is not it, and he collapses to his knees and throws up his like hands in prayer or something.
Oh, you're gonna make this hard. I'm gonna ask you once, and I'm gonna ask you once only. Can you prove your worth to me? Are you worth more than 1,000 gold?
Let me roll the dice. He flips you off.
I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. As he turns to the cleric, I think I'm just in my own head. I'll need no other services.
Well, go in peace, my boy. She kind of bows.
I'm gonna turn around and flip off the shadow, even though no one else can see it.
He dry humps the air and then gives you a thumbs up.
That's the spirit. All right.
So, as you guys are kind of revving around this royal palatial estate and city, anything else you guys need to do before moving on? The king looks a bit restless, but has, in all fairness, signed thousands of autographs while you guys have been doing your shopping around town.
I think I'm pretty set now. I got restocked up on items to help us out, and food doesn't taste like shit anymore. I think I'm pretty good.
Doesn't
I
taste like
imagine.
cash anymore.
Oh, I do want to give these back to you guys. And he walks over to Renwick and Logus. I can't thank you guys enough for letting me borrow some of your items. It really helped me when I was pretty much fucked. Um, but I think I'm all set now. And if you guys need these back, that's perfectly fine. Or we can just put it in our pool of items for later, in case anyone else needs them. But uh, yeah, he's gonna hold up the animated shield and the trident of the wave. He borrowed it. And Locust, did you give me armor?
I gave you back the mithril half plate,
Oh yeah. He'll hold that up too
which
in case Locust wants it. But I know you just bought
just
them too. So
just put the half plate into the pool in case you get unlucky in cards again.
yeah, good idea. So probably just drop the half plate into the bag of holding. But I don't know if Logus and Renwick want those items back, or if we can try and fit those in the bag too. But
So
Uh,
I'll certainly be taking that trident back if you're done with it, but I'm glad it served you well. And he like sets down his bag of holding, and there's a huge like, and he's just trying to like cram it in there after he just bought all this new shit.
Logus would hand him, Renwick, do you think you got some room for the shield in there? I literally have no need for it anymore.
Oh yeah, let me see what I can do. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't Locust have a bag of holding as well? We could spread this out a little. He's just like as he's slowly stuffing the trident in and like pivoting it around.
Yes,
Just
I do
have it
have a bag of
holding it.
holding.
Logus is just holding out to Renwick. Yeah, but he's way over there, and I'm already here. So just whenever you can.
oh,
Sean, one of the things I got on the robe was a spell scroll. If you allow me to choose, I would take a scroll of Revivify for that.
Sounds good to me. Somebody's got to keep Gladier alive. I mean,
Oh, speaking of which, I would like to buy like 1,200 gold worth of diamonds for the 300 diamonds needed for Revivify.
yeah, some of
okay,
mine.
yeah,
Yeah, I would
for sure.
go diamonds too, because I think all of mine were used. Oh no, I have two left. I would still buy like it.
I, I think I actually took one of yours, so you only have one left, and I have one.
Well, I had three, and I think you took one to revive me.
And then I took an extra from my pain and suffering to do that.
Okay.
I have 600 worth of diamonds for Gladier.
Oh shit.
So that's
Okay.
enough for 2 Revivifies for you.
Big old toad outside.
And you still have a magic cauldron in my bag that was following you like a puppy.
Sorry, what was that? I missed it.
After that whole thing with the deck, I think there was a magic cauldron that started following you, started jumping and getting excited.
Oh yeah, I actually forgot about that. Didn't we put that? I think we added that to the bag of holding.
Yeah, it's in my bag. I was looking at my list. That's why I knew.
Yeah, what
Oh,
did you ever write
Sean,
that?
what would I be able to sell a suit of white dragon scale mail for?
Ooh, White Dragon scale mail. We'll call it 1,200.
Okay. I'm gonna sell that and a gold bracelet for 250.
All right. So as you guys kind of get situated, the king just kind of seems to be, idly kind of choppering around the city, gazing down upon his people, just kind of really, really cherishing it. Really, he's just kind of glad to see everybody out and about, and you could tell that he kind of takes pride in his city and his people as he kind of choppers you around on this flying balcony. After a few circles of the palace, the flying balcony does return eventually to its original perch, and the king kind of, well, I will see to that my assistants get you the coinage I promised you. You have the quarters for as long as you need them, and I can take the time anytime you're ready to take you to the edge of my realm, to the Canyon of Betrayal. The fastest route between Brightwood and Nightwood is straight across. Might be able to guide you further, but alas, for another day. He kind of bows and kind of goes to take his leave. If you need me or have need of anything, the butlers stationed in your quarters should be able to handle most tasks. So, if you'll excuse me, I bid you adieu. Let me double check on some itemage there. Renwick, give me just a second.
While you're looking it up, Locris is going to go meditate for an hour with his Sunblade and attune to that to make it his weapon.
Very nice. Yeah, you guys kind of have like this lavish like quarters. It's like I said, it's like your own wing essentially. You have like common room where there's like a hearth and very expensive throw rugs and furniture and various odds and ends. You guys have a full bar. You guys have a full kitchen. You guys have various like luxury rooms aside from your own quarters and things like that. So.
Logus is gonna go gaze in the pool, and attune to his bracers for an hour.
Renwick, I would say you would be able to find something like this, but same with Logos's quiver. It's not cheap. It's going to be 2,500.
Yeah, that's worth it to me. We'll totally take a set. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, as you guys kind of head back to your quarters, it's probably late afternoon at this point. You spent a full day shopping and fucking about. Maybe take the time to attune to some of your newer items and things. Is there anything in particular you guys need to do? I would say dinner time is probably on the cusp. Food should be arriving to the main common room of your wing at any moment.
Hey, Gladia, I know you're excited to eat. Should we run right to the table?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good to taste food again. But I don't know. Who's faster? I mean, I am kind of curious. You are pretty lithe for little elf.
Gladia, did you really just ask me who's faster? We can race if you want.
Fuck it. I'm in a good mood. I got some nice new gear. I got my taste buds back.
Is it just by our regular like movement, or are we rolling something?
I would say technically it would be initiative, but if it's just a 1-2 thing, you're gonna beat him every time. It's a little.
Oh,
If he has the suit of armor that he was wearing prior, it did give him a little benefit to movement. But I believe your speed is at 45, right, Logos?
yeah.
You beat him, but just fucking barely. He's a lot faster than he was, but you're a step ahead of him, but just one.
What if
Logan's kind of shocked. Oh, how did you get so fast?
I try and trip him?
Go, yeah, go ahead and give me. We'll call it an athletics check.
All right, yeah. So Glader, as he's like sprinting beside him, he's like a fucking tank. So he's just like thudding down the hallway. He's gonna pull out his Kopesh, and they're kind of like curved swords, and it's only a blade on one side. So like with the dull end that's like curved inwards, he's gonna try and like hook Logus's like ankle with it and try and trip him.
Okay, yeah.
Well, since I see him trying to do this, can I like wait? Can I like what do I do? Like a dexterity saving throw or something?
I'm gonna see if he can hit your armor class if he's gonna use the Kopesh. So go ahead and give me basically an attack roll there, Gladier.
Just fucking chop off my foot by accident. Wrong
I'm,
side.
us- I'm using the dull end. You might get a bruise at worst. I have a +12 to fucking hit now, though.
Yeah, nat one though.
I shit you not, I just rolled in that one.
Yeah.
Jesus
You
Christ.
shin check him pretty fucking hard, and he still beats you in the race.
Uh,
To make it worse, I like beat you like on one leg. Like I'm just hopping on one leg towards the end.
yeah. So he pulls up next to you, just, oh, fuck. Yeah, you're a lithe little fucker. Good race. Sorry I hit your shin. It was harder than I meant to. I was just trying to trip you up a little bit.
It's okay. We'll settle it sooner or later.
He just pats you on the back and I guess goes to. We ran down to I guess dinner, so he just goes to try and find a seat.
And I bet you all these like stuck up elves are just like watching us with disdain in their eyes.
And yeah, dinner does arrive, and quite the spread it is. There's salads and pastas, and there's roast beef, and then there's roast pork, and there's various fowls. There's pheasant, there's birds, chickens, there's turkeys. There's it's a veritable spread. It is more food than the five of you could eat in 3 meals. It is just, there's fresh baked rolls, there's various types of flavored butters, and several different types of wine and ale and mead are sent out with it. Like, it's a veritable spread. Everything you would think like the royal a feast would be, and it's brought directly to your quarters. There's salads with exotic dressings and meats and cheeses, and the whole nine.
And Glader's just starting like shoveling food onto his plate and just eating with reckless abandon.
Finally, Gladier, for the first time, and probably since you entered the Shadowfell, you can taste food.
I think Ren makes a plate and sits down and pulls the steel mirror out of the bag of holding. And he's just sitting there eating one-handed and admiring, like, new suit of armor. He's cleaned up. He's not gray anymore. He's like looking around. Fuck yeah. Just kind of feeling it.
Yeah, so it's not long before, the other servants are kind of, show up once the dusk officially sets. The one of the butlers takes off. The other kind of stands ready at attention, but other servants come in to like clear the table and things of plates or things that are empty, or refill or refresh things that you guys are still going at, or drinking, etc. And they just kind of come and cater to you guys pretty much throughout the night, and they seem to be leaning real heavy on the wines and the ales and things. Like they don't no glass remains empty for long, and these kind of elvish caterers just kind of see to your whims and your fancy, and then kind of excuse themselves once everything is refreshed. And the butler type individual, after all this is said and done, also kind of approaches the party. Says, if you won't be needing anything more, I think I'll be retiring for the evening. We'll return at the crack of dawn, for sure. But is there anything you need before I depart?
I'd imagine at this point we're deep into our cups, so I think Renwick would be like, "Well, in that case, if you're getting off work, then we need you to have a drink with us." And he just like pours I guess whatever he's drinking, probably liquor if there it's available, and slides a glass over to him just out of hospitality.
Oh, well, I shan't refuse a stiff drink. And he takes the shot and just click, like it's there 1 second, it's gone the next. He doesn't even flinch.
I thought we were all taking a shot together. And then Logus will down his a little late.
Well, sirs, if you don't require anything more, I think I will be retiring for the evening. I bid you adieu. And he bails. He leaves you lot to your private quarters. So, anything in particular need to be done before you claim your long rest for the evening?
No, Logus would have definitely taken the time to attune to his bracers and, just get everything situated that he bought today and prepared. So I'm assuming we're heading out in the morning. And just making sure, that everything is settled, and that way he can get shit faced with the party.
Okay, for sure.
You ever get hammered the night before you go on vacation and just like drink while you're packing and tie on a good buzz? I'd imagine that's where Renwick's at, like just celebrating, getting ready, like rolling up his scrolls, all this new gear, and then does a little bit of meditation like he used to, lays down his rapier and sort of tries to uh, almost like commune a little bit with the Kraken. Um, I think he's sort of worried about this demon that he seems to have pissed off when he was fucking around with that deck of many things, and he kind of wants the big guy to be looking out for him.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Give me a religion check.
Okay, my nice +0. Boy. 18.
Nice. With an 18, you meditate, and for whatever reason, the deep, dark depths of some eerie underwater place is where you have visualized yourself, and it brings you peace, it brings you calm. You feel safe and unseen in the darkness.
He just sort of, I guess, reaches out almost like a more telepathic thing, and just thinks, I don't call on you often, but you've given me quite a bit of power that's helped me do a lot of good things. And unfortunately, that's also led to a pretty terrible thing. And I'm pretty sure in the near future, I'm going to be hunted by something greater than I or my friends. I'm going to need some help. And quite frankly, if you lose me, who's going to help you get your territory back?
You hear like an ominous echo. You are a seed. I planted you. You will grow. Worry not.
Well, you've done me good this far, so I guess this is more of a symbiotic relationship. Been a while since we touched base.
Suddenly, in the darkness, it's just an orb of yellow reflecting light, bigger than your entire body. A massive eye just kind of flips open and stares at you. I'm never far, and your power is only borrowed. It is really mine. So I would see you become as strong and wise as possible. For your strength and wisdom will eventually become my own. Worry not, Ward. You are fine. And with a massive, you don't even know what it did. Suddenly there are just bubbles in the darkness, and this massive beast you feel propel itself through the water out and away into the dark abyss.
I imagine when as like that kind of vision fades away through the bubbles, he kind of like and like almost as if he's like come up from water, he like catches like his first breath, and just kind of sits cross-legged, like leaned over a little bit, trying to like make sense of it. But in a like a twisted way, he feels comforted. And I think that's where he'll retire for the evening.
Since Locris is kind of drunk, he's going to see if he can find his way to a mausoleum.
A mausoleum?
Yep.
I mean, there's certainly a graveyard with many, mausoleums kind of here and there. It's definitely a sacred place, but it does not take you long to find it. If ask any guard or local, you're semi-famous and have been traveling with the king all day. They guide you to where you seek. But yes, there's definitely in the temple district, there are several mausoleums and a rather large graveyard, considering elves don't die of old age and natural causes. Crosses your mind. There's a lot of dead elves.
He's just going to see if he could find like a skull or something and just cast Speak with Dead and just ask stupid questions like, what was your favorite food?
Well, you probably wouldn't be able to find a skull without doing a fair bit of grave robbing. Like you would have to dig up a casket and pull about, but or in the mausoleum rather, you would have to essentially trespass. You're gonna have to break a lock or a window or a door. It's not necessarily open to everyone. More like private family mausoleums and tombs and things.
All right, let's see. Came up heads. No, let's not go too crazy here.
Aside from that, it is very well placed statues. A lot of the material is marble. A lot of that more high end elvish architecture extends even to the graveyard. So, unless any of you have anything in particular, it's a long rest comes to you guys. You find sleep in these velvet and silken covers and sheets, and various blankets of high quality. The smell of incense and fine wax burns in the distance, and with yet another sleep beneath your belt, Renwick, I need another Constitution saving throw from you, sir.
Alrighty. Leave this one up to Avery because I just put my dice away. It's probably gonna fuck me, so this should get interesting. 12.
Kind of, very mid. Renwick, you sleep after this big meditative stance where you kind of touched base with your patron. You find sleep uneasy. Speaking of dreams and meditation, you open your eyes and you're bound by chain. It's odd. You kind of look around. You're very disoriented, and you realize that you are bound by chain, and the particular chain that has bound you is hung somewhere on the roof or ceiling of wherever you happen to be. It is so far away that it is just darkness. It is out of sight. But as you look below you and all around, a lake of magma as far as you can see in all directions. Beneath you, something akin to a fire giant, some sort of beast or monster you are unfamiliar with. It sits on a metal stool in this lake of magma. It seems to only be ankle deep to this creature. It has something in its hand. It seems to be peeling something, and it eats whatever it peeled and discards something over its shoulder into this pool of magma. And then it stands, and it is massive, much bigger than the fire giants that you have encountered in your time. And it reaches up, and you see that you are not alone. Hanging from this far away unseen ceiling are dozens upon dozens of individuals, each wrapped in chain. And as this creature reaches up and plucks another off of this chain as if it were picking a flower, it removes the chain, and you watch with your very eyes this massive beast use a knife-like thumbnail to fillet another humanoid, fillets them alive, screaming and kicking and fighting and the whole lot. It discards the body of this humanoid over one shoulder into this massive pit of lava or magma where it disintegrates, and it eats only the skin. This monster reaches up again to pluck yet another, and it's reaching for you. And as its hands close around you, you shoot awake, short of breath and covered in sweat. Renwick, for the time being, well, at least until your next long rest, rather, you've been gifted by your demon fiendish ally, or frenemy, rather, what is known as the unlucky feat, at least until you pass a Constitution saving throw on your next long rest. While the halfling luck allows you to re-roll ones, the unlucky feat requires you to re-roll nat 20s. A gift from your demon brethren, along with a nightmarish dream.
Yeah, I earned that. That's fair. I like this though. That's cool. So I just every time I rest, I have the chance to to get this while I'm being hunted, correct?
Correct. And it's a chart. It's not always going to be the same thing.
Oh.
You might awaken feeling ill and suffer the effects of say, poison for a day until you pass your constitution saving throw. Or it also might extend, it's a small chart. I do roll a die, but it does have things like that. And even like despite a long rest, you gain all the benefits of a long rest. However, you are stuck with a point of exhaustion. You just can't find restful sleep as you were being tortured in your nightmares type of situation.
Heard. That's pretty cool. I like that.
The DC, I will tell you now, will progress with your level, but currently you only missed it by 1. So, with that, the party gathers themselves after this bit of a long rest and, prepares for a venture. The king able to take you to at least the outer reaches of his own territory, but alas, I think that is probably where we're going to have to bookmark our story for the time, fellas. But we will reconvene the morning after said shopping day, ready for excursion and adventure.
Fuck yes.
The
Hell yeah.
clock thickens.
How'd everybody do on their shopping? What's everybody getting back since the king is offering 10%?
Yeah,
Cashback.
let's map that out real quick so I don't forget next session. But what did you guys cumulatively spend? It was a decent chunk. You guys should be getting a nice little refund there.
I think I spent like 8,500.
Can this just before we start shouting numbers, can we just put this all on my Capital One?
Yeah, I ended up doing 23,600.
Jesus.
Fuck, dude.
That's a nice return, fellas.
I bought 10 grand in scrolls that I think will come in handy in like weird places, and then stocked up on some potions. And then on top of that, just a bunch of utility shit. So stuff I've wanted for a while, but I've been spending more on becoming a beefcake, and now I've achieved beefcake status, so I can buy more consumables.
Sean, would you allow me to retcon and buy a scroll of sending from the spell?
A scroll of sending? Sure, yeah. And anything up to 4th level for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna buy 2 of them then, and I'll add that.
Okay, yeah, it's 1,000 times the level, so that might affect the return price of your guys' refund. So, yeah, definitely an interesting session. I peek behind the screen. I had to out Locris's curse because it was gonna legitly get you guys killed.
Oh, I firmly believe that. When the I think 2 times it happened, it almost broke the encounter because he's so fucking stacked that if he's not swinging in the enemy's direction, and most of the time we're like half health anyway, so we're like one good Locris hit from going under.
Yeah, Locris has become quite powerful by level 12, and I'm thinking like, man, I could have a minor encounter of a handful of goblins, and Locris just goes apeshit and murders one of you. Like, it's totally possible. So.
I was ready to lose the curse anyway. It was fun while it lasted.
It made the manor more interesting when you started clubbing your own buddies.
Yeah, that could have turned out worse.
Well, it sucks because I got the Sun Blade, which would have dealt radiant damage every fucking fight. So it would have been like an extra 1d8 every hit. But I didn't want to give up Berserker Axe. That's what it says. You don't want to give it up, so
Well,
let
I
my
mean,
ass
you
off.
have damage.
You had a sweet weapon for fighting undead, and you got screwed into this unholy artifact instead. It was kind of fucked up. But hey, live and learn, I guess, right?
Well, I mean, I said I'm the Travis. If you put a cursed weapon, I will attune to it and just keep it. And I would have done the deck of many things too. I even told them in our campaign chat, like, if nobody else wants to do it, I'm drawing a fucking card.
Yeah, that still blows my mind. I thought because metagame wise, you all know what the deck of many things was, that you guys were gonna for sure pull like a card. Fuck no, you guys pulled 6 out of that motherfucker with the NPC. Like, you guys have a death wish, man. At some point, it's not me. You know what I mean? I mean, I try to kill you a lot, but still.
I just figured I finished my arc. I have like this could be really cool narratively, or some cool shit could happen to me. And so I think I walked away kind of mild, but now I have a new kind of side arc that I'm pretty stoked about because I could like you painted that fucking image in my head so perfectly that I'm stoked about being hunted by a fucking devil.
It's gonna be good. It'll be worth it. Wait till the end of this arc. It'll all come together nicely.
Yeah.
Once you guys realize that Blade actually runs an orphanage in hell from like all of his spawned children on Daanal Wisech.
You guys are so fucked, dude. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I feel like his arc is going to be him playing against us in real time, and you're just going to be the moderator.
Exactly.
You get a genie with 3 wishes for every party member you kill. No. So what was the total of the spendage? I read 49,450. Is that the grand
We still
total?
need a Locris and Gladiator, or sorry, yeah, Locris and Gladiator's totals.
I spent 8,500.
Let's see.
I'm just curious as to what the 10% actually came out to, really.
I think I ended up spending about 10,000. Because I was taking off the 10% as I went to keep my numbers accurate. So
we spent right around 68,000.
Jeez.
Damn, very nice though. I gotta keep you guys broke. You're gonna buy some crazy shit like a fucking palatial estate of your own,
We did go over the thought of maybe seeing if we could buy like a magical tank or something to help us get through the night woods.
I mean, it's potentially possible. That would be pretty sweet, just so I can have Gladiator tow it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, with that new fucking belt, yeah, we could just strap him some reins on him.
Yeah, 27 or 23 strength now.
A real beefcake.
Logos thought the 10% was 100% and like blew his whole burned his whole coin purse because he thought he was getting reimbursed.
I did, dude. I'm fucking broke now. That's pretty much all I got is that stupid 1,800, man. I fully misheard that shit.
I just got the couple things I wanted, like the ointment. Then I thought the robe would be fun because you don't have to attune to it, and I got some good stuff out of there. An everlasting ration, so I never have to worry about fucking food.
All right. Well, I think if we are all paid up and concluded, coins delivered upon, prior to you guys departing for your long rest, easily reimbursed by the royal treasury. But yeah, we are gonna have to call it here, fellas.
All right, sounds good. That was a good session. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right. Well,
Sounds good, fellas.
Yeah, love a good shopping sesh.
right. It's been a while. Might be the last one
well,
for a bit. Who knows? Maybe you guys die on your way to the Fey world. I don't know.
wouldn't that be ironic? Like you finally get your TPK right after we fucking drop 60
Right.
grand and load ourselves up.
That reminds me of like the intro to like the Critical Role cartoon, where, like bunch of heroes and like they're all murdered. Rocks fall, everyone dies. Like, oh shit, who else do we got?
Well, have a good night, boys. It was fun.
Take it
Yeah,
easy.
have a
boys.
good
See you
one.
next week.
Yo.